for tuning in for Keeping Up with Congress. I am Tamara Johnson Shealy, your candidate for the United States Senate. I'm a progressive Democrat that believes that reparations will make America great. It is time that we bridge the divide in this country. Please go to the website, that's tamara4georgia.com, www.tamara, Georgia spelled out.com. Please join me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here for Keeping Up with Congress. All right. Good afternoon. You know what time it is. It is Keeping Up with Congress, y'all. Keeping Up with Congress. It is, can you believe it? It's already August 2nd. Y'all. I come to you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 5 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube and Clubhouse. And I take it over to the Clubhouse space at 5:30 till about a half an hour or more. Yesterday we went much longer, but we have to talk it through. We got to talk it out, talk it through, strategize, work it out, But I am Tamara Johnson Shealy. If you are following me right here on YouTube, hit that like button, hit the subscribe, hit that notification, and share. I see you chiming in over here on YouTube. Come on in, Clubhouse. Come on in. Let's get started. I have been in Zooms today. I had some interviews. We've been busy today. Busy. I can tell you one thing I do appreciate is that I don't have to leave my space to do this. I can sit at my desk and we can make it all happen via technology. So I can appreciate, this digital space that we live in and being able to campaign digitally the way I need to, and we need to right now, right? In this season. So thank you. I see you, Clubhouse family. Thank you for chiming in, ping some folks into the room. We're about to get started. At the top, I always like to bring you some reparations information. What's going on across the country specific to reparations? I keep telling you, we will not, and I repeat, we will not get reparations without negotiation. So that's why we host this room, Keeping Up with Congress. We hope this broadcast, Keeping Up with Congress, because if we're going to get reparations, we're going to have to know the players, and we're going to have to know this game, this political game that's being played, because they all want something. All these legislators are there mostly because of their special interests and those that are making it happen, funneling and fueling their fight via resources. They're working for somebody. So they're going to want something if we're going to get reparations. So we got to figure this thing out. So let's dive in. Here's our first article. Push for reparations in Chicago derailed by opposition from the mayor, y'all. Advocates and aldermen, they want to talk about this in this article. So the push for reparations in Chicago is derailed by opposition from the mayor, y'all. Let's see what this is all about. It says a push to examine whether and how the city should pay reparations to Chicagoans who are the descendants of enslaved African Americans has been derailed, and advocates and aldermen blame the mayor, Lori Lightfoot, y'all. I keep watching that Chicagoland. That mayor, y'all, she's something. She is something. So this says more than a year after it was formed, the city council subcommittee on reparations has met only once. And that meeting was sidetracked by a series of speakers who demanded that aldermen ban pet stores from selling dogs, cats, and rabbits at a profit to restrict the operation of breeders. So the one meeting that they had, it was sidetracked by a whole nother conversations. This article goes on to say the alderman Stephanie Coleman of the 116th Ward, the chairman of the subcommittee, said a lack of institutional support coupled with delays caused by the COVID-19 pandemic stymied efforts to make progress on how best to tackle slavery's legacy of systemic racism and disinvestment in Chicago. This article goes on to say Mayor Lori Lightfoot said in a statement released by her office that she is committed to addressing the legacy of structural racism in Chicago. That's what she said, y'all. She is committed to addressing the legacy of structural racism in Chicago. It says Lightfoot said her work with City Council on reparations is in its beginning stages. Okay, Lightfoot, she says it's in the beginning stages, y'all. Let's see what else. It says these are serious issues, said Coleman, who is crafting a Black Chicago recovery plan with Cam Howard of the National Coalition of Blacks for Reparations. This is in Cobra, that's working with Coleman. She's an alderwoman. It says nearly 40% of the Chicagoans who have died after contracting COVID-19 were Black, according to data from the Chicago Department of Public Health. It says even though Black Chicagoans make up approximately 33% of the population. Article goes on to say there is no doubt that Lightfoot, the first Black woman elected Chicago mayor, is responsible for the stall push for reparations. This is Howard. This is in Cobra. He says there's no doubt that Lightfoot, the first Black woman elected Chicago mayor, is responsible for the stalled push for reparations. He says this mayor is out of step with history. Lightfoot, a former federal prosecutor and Mayor Brown partner, is tied too closely to corporate interests to support meaningful reparations. She is not close enough to Black interests, Howard said. So y'all, the mayor, what's going on with that mayor in Chicago, y'all? Keeping our eyes on Congress, keeping up with Congress, y'all. What's going on with that mayor? We're going to keep it moving. Let's see. I have another article. This one, I think you will really appreciate. This is an article by Dr. William Darity, Dr. William Sandy Darity and Kirsten Mullen. This is an article that was written for the Inquirer. This was from July the 30th. It says, local reparations is an opinion piece. Local reparations plans make promises they can't keep. So this is Dr. Darity. It says, in the last few years, the term reparations has leaped from the fringe of American discourse to the mainstream. This happened in part thanks to the last presidential race when Marianne Williamson recommended $100 billion to $500 billion in compensation, and some of her fellow Democratic hopefuls agreed some form of restitution was justified. And we all know Marianne Williams got it wrong. I appreciate it. And I was totally going to support Marianne because she was the one that was courageous enough to push a reparations agenda. So I was hopeful that Marianne Williamson would continue to carry the ball, but she fumbled, y'all, big time when she came up with her own numbers. That was like a catastrophe. like I don't know, why she felt like she could come up with her own plan or where she got these numbers from, but the fact that she had come up with such a small fraction was a slap in the face. So that hurt her and hurt her candidacy and hurt her chances, with those of us who were descendants of chattel slavery, because we were very hopeful because she was, like I say, courageous enough to even put it out there. So we'll shout out to Marianne, but thank you. We'll keep it moving. In the aftermath of George Floyd's high visible murder, not only do reparations continue to be a topic under national consideration, municipalities are now racing to pilot their own reparations programs on behalf of African Americans. And there lies the problem. These municipalities are now racing to pilot their own quote unquote reparations programs on behalf of African Americans. This article says California and New York have created reparations commissions, and proposals have been floated in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Indeed, piecemeal reparations initiatives appear to be experiencing a spawning season. So yeah, these piecemeals, you cannot piecemeal us. You can't. We are broken in a million pieces. Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall. We are broken in a million pieces. You can't pick up pieces of us and try to put us back together again. I'm going to have to use that, y'all, on the campaign trail. I'm going to have to use that. You can't pick us up and try to put us back together again. We're broken into a million pieces, and it's gonna take reparations and something comprehensive on a federal level, right? It says in this article, they may be encouraged by Evanston, Illinois, vaunted this spring for being the first American city to pay reparations. But more accurately, Evanston created a housing voucher plan, creating $400,000 in home ownership and improvement grants, plus mortgage assistance, which cannot come close to meeting the sums needed to close the wealth gap for its Black residents. In a city of about 11,000 eligible Black recipients, the total needed to erase the gap would be $3.3 billion. The annual city budget is $300 million. And this captures the fatal flaw of these local and state proposals that, in the absence of a precise definition, parade merely under the label of reparations while offering no such thing. This is not reparations. This is not reparations, y'all. This is an opinion piece by Dr. Sandy Darity. Goes on to say, suffice it to say, neither states nor localities taken individually or collectively have the ability to close the Black-white wealth gap, which must be the central objective of true reparations. Reparations is about closing the racial wealth gap. I don't know what these municipalities and that organization of mayors, that MORE, M-O-R-E, that organization of all these mayors across the country that are coming together and saying, yeah, we're gonna have a reparations agenda. Not. It's not reparations. I think they see it as a money grab, as an opportunity, y'all. Let's call it a spade. This article goes on to say, labeling these local attempts reparations may simply reflect an attempt to score political points and distract from substantial efforts. Exactly. In contrast, the federal government is the financially capable partner. As the response to the pandemic has demonstrated, the federal government has the ability to mobilize quickly vast resources, spending $5 trillion on pandemic era stimulus. You saw how fast they were able to come up with this pandemic money, right? Cut the check. Article concludes by reparations for Black American descendants of slavery in the United States must be a federal project. States and localities should not continue to describe any actions they take as reparations. Let's reserve that term for a comprehensive national program that brings average Black wealth into alignment with average white wealth. I think we got to be real mindful of how we use that word reparations. Reparations is federal, reparations is federal. These local initiatives, these state initiatives, I think are good to drive the narrative, but specifically calling it reparations, it dilutes our efforts. These states and these localities, these local municipalities, they can't pay reparations. It's obvious. They don't have the budgets to do so. And reparations in one state, how is it going to affect somebody who live in another state? Come on now. Keeping up with Congress, y'all. You know, like I said, I always like to bring you reparations information. If you have not been to my website, I ask that you do, please. Go to the website, check me out, look at where I stand on these issues, y'all. We have a bold agenda. We're taking a bold agenda to Washington. I have a new fundraiser page with some cool merchandise, y'all. Take a look. Get you some swag, y'all. Get you some swag. Go to the website, make a donation, become a volunteer. We just have work to do. We have work to do, and we got to get to Washington in order to get it done. I see you, family over there. I see you chiming in. Thank you for chiming in on YouTube. I see you in this Clubhouse space. Thank you. Let's dive into the bills. You know, I've been bringing you either House bills or Senate bills, but what I've started to do is bring you a combination of both. I like to bring you about 10 bills every time we're here. So I'm bringing you 5 from the House and 5 from the Senate, just to make sure that we're covering all of our bases. So HR 931 is the Public Water Invasive Species Compliant Act of 2021. This is Representative Louis Gohmert, Republican out of Texas. This bill addresses transfers between Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana of water that contains invasive species. And I'm like, okay, what are they really talking about? So I looked it up a little bit. The Public Water Supply Invasive Species Compliance Act will ensure the steady flow of interstate water transfers without interference from Washington bureaucrats. The Saving America's Vulnerable and Endangered Species Act will make it easier for ranchers and wildlife sanctuaries to repopulate non-native species without being stifled by bureaucratic red tape. So it goes on to say it provides certainty to water agencies who supply water to Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana by ensuring that interstate water transfers between the three states are not shut down as a result of the Lacey Act, which is legislation that affects trade in wildlife, fish, or plants across state lines. So they're protecting the water, and this Public Water Supply Invasive Species Compliant Act of 2021. HR 932 is to require the Secretary of Agriculture to conduct a study on national forest volunteers. And I'm like, why are they studying the national forest volunteers? I didn't quite get that. Representative Morgan Griffith, Republican out of Virginia. I actually looked it up too, y'all. This bill directs the Forest Service to report on, with respect to each national forest, the amount of volunteer hours served, the deferred maintenance backlog, whether volunteers could carry out any projects under the deferred maintenance backlog, and any barriers to increasing volunteer participation. So I thought about it. I'm like, sometimes you got to think like a Republican. Like, why are y'all wanting to study the forest volunteers? So maybe it's a cost saving mechanism. So I'm thinking like a Republican. They're spending money, but they're going to save some money by studying these volunteers to get more volunteers. So maybe that's a cost savings approach. I'm thinking like a Republican, y'all. I'm trying to figure out how they think. I even, like I said, went further to look up like what the volunteer opportunities are with the Department of Agriculture and the forest services. So yeah, I'm like thinking like a Republican. Maybe they're spending money now on a study to save some bigger money later. Keeping up with Congress, y'all. HR 933, Home Defense and Competitive Shooting Act of 2021. I found this interesting. Representative Morgan Griffith, Republican out of Virginia. Y'all, this bill removes short-barreled rifles, barrels of less than 16 inches in length, from the definition of firearms for the purposes of the National Firearms Act. It also eliminates the prohibition on the transportation of such rifles in interstate commerce and treats persons who acquire or possess a short barrel rifle as meeting the registration or licensing requirement for such rifle, whether such requirements are determined by reference to the National Firearms Act. It says this bill preempts state or local laws that impose a tax or record keeping requirements on short barreled rifles. So here's the part that this last sentence, y'all. The Department of Justice must destroy records relating to the registration of certain rifles within 1 year after the enactment of this bill. So the Department of Justice is going to destroy the registration of these rifles. They don't want people to know who had them, where they. That part threw me, y'all. It threw me for a loop. And I had to look them up. I'm like, what do these short barrel rifles look like? Hell, more of the examples was looking like military equipment, not just this old, what you see here, this kind of old-timey looking barrel rifle. But why are they showing these military rifles? So I'm not a gun expert. So those of you that are gun experts, maybe y'all can explain this to me, but I don't quite get it. Nevertheless, they want to get rid of this this get rid of it. They don't, if you own a 16-inch or less, they want to get eliminated. Yeah, it's I don't know. Tell me, y'all. I'm not a gun enthusiast. I don't know enough to. I just want to understand. So that's HR 933, the Home Defense and Competitive Shooting Act of 2021. HR 934, HR 934 is the Unemployed Worker Lifeline Act. Unemployed Worker Lifeline Act. This is Representative Horsford, Stephen Horsford, Democrat out of Nevada, HR 934. And I definitely looked this one up too. This legislation would increase the federal supplemental unemployment insurance payments from $300 to $400 for weeks after March 14th and extend the $400 weekly supplemental payment to be paid on top of all types of unemployment insurance payments through October 3rd of 2021. So this was a bill that was introduced by Representative Horsford, Stephen Horsford, what a name, Democrat out of Nevada. HR 935, again, I'd like to bring you 5 bills from the House and bringing you 5 bills from the Senate. So this one is our last one from the House, is HR 935, Small Business Mergers, Acquisitions, Sales, and Brokerage Simplification Act of 2021. This is Representative Huizenga, Republican out of Michigan. This bill exempts from securities registration requirements certain merger and acquisition brokers that facilitate transfer of ownership in privately held companies with earnings or revenues under a specified threshold. So that was a lot. So I looked that one up so I could really kind of be have a little more understanding about what this is. Let me find my little paragraph. Did it go away? It did, y'all. Let me find it, y'all. Here it is. Says, yeah, I had it highlighted. My internet must have refreshed. Let me see. Here, HR 935 codifies and includes the extensive investor protection in the SEC M&A broker no action letter, while not affecting the SEC's jurisdiction over M&A brokers. This is HR 935 would remove unwarranted regulatory costs, allowing privately owned business sellers and buyers to engage unregistered M&A brokers rather than expensive Wall Street type investment bankers. This one easy step would help level the playing field for small business owners, including retirees, by reducing the cost of their M&A transactions. So this is mergers and acquisitions. So Small Business Mergers, Acquisitions, Sales, and Brokerage Simplification Act. So this is some rich people problems, but they want to simplify this process, y'all. So again, I am Tamara Johnson Shealy. We got about 5 more minutes over here in this YouTube space. I'm gonna take it over to Clubhouse for another half hour, but let's dive into S491. S491 is the York River Wild and Scenic River Act of 2021. This is Representative Senator King, Angus King. Angus King is a independent out of Maryland. Excuse me. Yeah, ME, is that Maryland? What's ME, y'all? Help me. No. It's one of those days, y'all. I got my little cheat sheet, y'all. Maine. Maine, y'all. It's Maine. Independent out of Maine, y'all. This bill designates specified segments of the main stem and the tributaries of the York River in Maine as a recreational river. So they want to make parts of it into a recreational river up in Maine, y'all. This is S491. Senate Bill 492, I think a lot of you would appreciate. This is Ending Qualified Immunity Act. We've been, talking about the George Floyd Act, and this is S492, Ending Qualified Immunity Act. This is Senator Markey, Edward Markey. He's a Democrat, y'all, Democrat out of Massachusetts. This bill eliminates the defense of qualified immunity in civil actions for deprivation of rights. And of course, qualified immunity is a judicially created doctrine that protects government employees or those acting with state authority from being held personally liable for constitutional violations. So this is Senator Edward Markey, that introduced the bill to end qualified immunity. Let's pay attention to this, y'all. This is why we keep up with Congress. Some of the things that we want to see is kind of being piecemealed. We just got to find who's doing it and follow. Senate Bill 493. Senate Bill 493 is a bill to amend the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 to provide for the issuance of exempt facility bonds for zero emission vehicle infrastructure. So this bill permits the use of tax exempt facility bonds to fund zero emission vehicle infrastructure. The bill defines zero emission vehicles as any light or heavy duty vehicle that conform to the regulatory zero emission vehicle standards, or vehicles that produce zero exhaust emission of any criteria, pollutant, or greenhouse gas under the Clean Air Act. So this is Senator Catherine Cortez Masto. She's a Democrat out of Nevada. Couple more before we close out, y'all. Couple more. Senate Bill 494 is the Green Bus Tax Credit Act of 2021. Green Bus Tax Credit Act of 2021. This is Senator Catherine Cortez Masto, again, Democrat out of Nevada. This bill allows a manufacturer a zero emission bus tax credit through 2026. It says this credit is equal to 10% of the sales price of a zero emission bus. So this credit only applies to the first $1 million of a vehicle sales price and to buses used primarily in the United States and its possessions. So this is, again, Senator Catherine Cortez Masto. She's a Democrat out of Nevada. And we are almost at the half hour, y'all. Just another minute. This is our last bill for the afternoon. Senate Bill 495. Senate Bill 495. This is Senator John Thune, Republican out of South Dakota. He is Prioritizing Help to Businesses Act. Prioritizing Help to Businesses Act. This bill authorizes additional, for those of you that are following immigration, this bill authorizes additional H-2B visas for temporary non-agricultural workers in states with relatively low unemployment. And you see, I have this highlighted. Let me read this sentence again. This bill authorizes additional H-2B visas for temporary non-agricultural workers in states with relatively low unemployment. So if these states have relatively low unemployment, why are you offering these additional H-2B visas for non-agricultural workers? I didn't get that, y'all. So this is why we have to keep up with Congress. This is why I'm scratching my head like, okay, what's really going on here for those of us that are following immigration? These are initiatives that we just have to keep our eyes on. This is Senator John Thune, Republican out of South Dakota. So we are at the half hour, y'all. We be doing it. So thank you for joining me. You know, I am here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for Keeping Up with Congress. Keeping Up with Congress, keeping you abreast. Again, we will not get reparations without negotiations. We got to know who the players are. We have to know the game, because they're going to want something and we're going to have to give up something. But whatever it is, we're going to get the check cut and we're going to get the reparations so our people can be free. Because I don't see us, coming out of this if we don't get reparations, y'all. We understand the data. We know where we are. So we're going to have to keep fighting. So I see you, family. I'm coming over into the clubhouse space. We're going to chop it up over there. But I want to say thank you. Go to the website. Continue to make those contributions. We got work to do, y'all. Keeping Up with Congress. And I will see you tomorrow, same time, 5 o'clock p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in for Keeping Up with Congress. I am Tamara Johnson Shealy, your candidate for the United States Senate. I'm a progressive Democrat that believes that reparations will make America great. It is time that we bridge the divide in this country. Please go to the website, that's tamara4georgia.com, www.tamara, Tamara, Georgia spelled out.com. Please join me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here for Keeping Up with Congress.